You are Locked On Broncos POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome on into your Locked On Broncos postcast. After a disappointing loss for the Orange and Blue, they are unable to get the job done. I got my man Alex Becker here joining me on the show. Hope everybody is hanging in there out there in Broncos country. Tonight's episode of your Locked On Broncos postcast is brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. But Aniello Piro, Alex Becker here. Where can they follow you on social media, my man?
You can follow me at @BeckerSports on Twitter. Big sports guy, love to talk ball. Yeah,
he's one of the good ones with us over at Mile High Sports, and you can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And Alex, they had chance after chance after chance to put this game away, and the Denver Broncos unable to secure the victory as they eventually lose to the Cincinnati Bengals. Your final score 30-24. Playoffs still in play. They got to beat the Chiefs next week, who are likely going to, rest their starters. So no Mahomes, no Kelsey, right? No, there's a good opportunity here for the Broncos. But assuming they do win that game next week, my friend, they're going to back into the playoffs after two heartbreaking losses in a row.
Two heartbreakers in a row. You got 3 games to win one. All right, 3 games to win one. You can't get it done last week. You lose an absolute heartbreaker today. What a wild and crazy game in Cincinnati this afternoon. I mean, the overtime just itself was wild, but you're probably going to going against Carson Wentz and some of the Chiefs' backups for the majority of the game next week. You like their chances in that one, but today stings. There's no doubt about it. You got some extra rest. You play on the Thursday against the Chargers. Point. Extra time to prepare for the Bengals, but you can't make the critical plays when it matters most. After the doink field goal by Cade York in overtime, all you really need is one first down. You're playing for a tie at that point. A tie gets you into the playoffs, but they can't execute. Got to punt the ball away. Riley Dixon really struggled with his punts in overtime. And then, Joe Burrow is one of the elite quarterbacks in this league. He's going to make you pay. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, even if PS2 takes away Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is really, really good, and he made them pay in overtime.
Well, I mean, the way that I'm looking at it, man, is when you are gifted from the football gods above a doink field goal, which was for the win at the Cincinnati Bengals.
33-yarder, same distance as an extra point. Same exact distance.
And you can't get the job done then. And to your point, Alex, you could play for a tie. A tie would have clinched a playoff spot for the Denver Broncos. And you've mentioned it, 3 games to win one.
3 games to win one.
Brutal loss to the Chargers last week. A brutal loss now to the Cincinnati Bengals. And like I said, the Broncos' playoff hopes are still alive and well, folks. This was not a season-ending loss. But assuming that Denver is able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs next week, you're going to back into that because, the Chiefs aren't going to play any of their starters. But, man, what a brutal loss for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, terrible, right? I mean, you get the crazy touchdown at the end of regulation in fourth quarter with Marvin Mims hauling that one in. It obviously goes to review, but it's ruled as a catch. You have a chance to win the game. If you go for 2, you're up by 1, obviously. Bo Nix wanted to go for 2. He was giving the 2 to Sean Payton. I want to win this football game right here. I don't want to take it to overtime. Sean Payton, kind of an interesting call because he's known as an aggressive coach that likes to take chances. He wants to take this game into overtime just by kicking the extra point. I don't know, AP, what do you think about that one?
Well, I don't know if I was standing next to you or here at our Mile High Sports watch party here at number 38 in Rhino. If you're in the Denver metro area, come on down. We're watching the Buffs game here right now in the Alamo Bowl. And I had a couple buddies here, a couple of my coworkers, Danny Bailey, Chase Chow, check them out on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel. And I turned to them immediately and I said, I might go for 2 here.
You might as well play for the win. I mean, Sean Payton, he's just such known as a riverboat, a gambler type coach. And you have a chance to clinch a playoff berth right there, send the Bengals home packing, eliminate them from the playoffs. And you play for the tie, which is, I don't know, on the road.
That's a good point on the road.
If they go for 2 and they get it, he's going to be revered as this gambler who's pushes his chances and can win. But if he doesn't get it, everyone's going to kill him in the media. So you might as well be conservative, I guess.
I'm in agreement with you, though, in the sense of you're on the road. You've got a desperate Bengals team. And I understand that the Bengals have not had a great year this year, right? It's been a bit up and down. They're still alive, technically, after this win today, 30-24 over the Denver Broncos. But put them to bed. Put them to bed. I thought the Broncos personally got a little bit lucky there with that touchdown call at the end of regulation. I thought maybe it hit the ground, whatever it might be. They got a blessing there. And to have 2 drives in overtime and not even be able to get a first down, I mean, it's brutal. That's the only way that I can sum it up.
I agree. I thought the defense hung in there well enough, even more than well enough against a high-powered offense. Joe Burrow still threw for 412 yards this day, and then T. Higgins and Jamar Chase both go for over 100 receiving. But I thought the defense did better than expected against such a high-powered offense, and the offense has got to do more in overtime. Yeah, I agree with you. All you need is 1 first down. Yeah, the running game is almost extinct. They can't get the running game. It is extinct. They're taking away the deep routes, the intermediate routes. All Bo Nix has is maybe the short routes and then a deep shot here and there. We saw with Marvin Mims, but the offense is a little bit of a concern for me. I knew not having a solid stud number 1 running back was going to bite them at some point in the season, and right now it's showing up. McLaughlin's okay in spurts, but you need a number 1 running back right now.
Well, and we'll get into this as the show progresses right here on your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. If you're watching, appreciate y'all. Make sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode. But I want to talk about Bo Nix. We're going to dedicate a whole segment to him here after the break in just a moment or so. But also where we're at with this Broncos team relative to expectations before the year. Because I think hindsight's always 20/20, right? And a lot of people were picking the Broncos to be one of, if not the worst team in the NFL entering this season. They've been anything but that. But still, you can change your opinion with new information. And we saw this Denver Broncos team go on a run, right? They've won some big games. Maybe not against quality opponents. I believe the Broncos only have 1 win now against teams with a winning record. That was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Still, week 3.
Exactly. Yeah. So very early on into the season. So there's a lot that this Broncos team still needs to accomplish before they can start climbing that mountaintop with Sean Payton and Bo Nix. I'm not worried about Bo Nix long term.
No,
that was a terrible interception.
I think he's the franchise guy. I mean, he's played higher than expectations this year. He's played a lot better than the other rookie quarterbacks. Yes, that interception was bad at the end of regulation, but his arm was kind of hit. He's better than even if the Broncos had won 5 games this year, but Bo Nix has looked the way he's looked this year, I would have considered the season a success because you have the guy for the future. So I'm with you on that, AP. I think Bo Nix has shown more than enough for his future potential here.
And rookie mistakes, man. I could probably count 4 or 5 different throws that give him a year or 2 in this league. He's going to hit those throws 9 times out of 10. A couple open receivers. Bad interception there late in the 4th quarter, which essentially put the game on ice. Although the Broncos had numerous chances, 2 or 3 chances after that to get themselves back in this game and win it after all, and they were unable to do so. So it is a disappointing, disheartening loss for the Denver Broncos tonight. There's no other way to slice it. I'm still trying to process it. I can't believe when you get that gift, like I said a couple minutes ago, with a missed field goal in overtime, a chip shot off the left upright, that you still can't figure out a way to win. Not even just win, but play for the tie. Play for the tie. That's all the Denver Broncos had to do, but they were unable to get a first down. And again, Bengals are a good team. But you know what's not good about the Bengals is their defense. They showed up today. 24 points allowed to the Broncos. We know the Broncos have their shortcomings on offense as well, but whichever way you slice it, man, it is an unfortunate outcome here tonight for the Denver Broncos.
Very, very unfortunate. The overtime stings so much. I agree. We were all celebrating like they almost won the football game when Cade York joined that field goal off the left upright.
I came up to you and I put my hand around you and I said, we're going to have a great postcast tonight.
It was made for the Broncos right there. You had a gift just handed right to you. You need a couple first downs, just run the clock. Like you said, play for a tie. But they still couldn't get it done. The offense stalled in overtime. The punting was awful in overtime.
Yeah, awful.
And And, you get an offense with an elite quarterback and 2 elite wide receivers, you're going to get beat at some time. Riley Moss, we were all excited about him going back into the lineup today.
Got cooked a little bit.
He got attacked all day long from the first quarter through the overtime. They were going after him time and time again. There's a reason why T. Higgins has 11 catches for 131 yards today and 3 tutties.
Yeah, not one, not 2.
But 3. Dude, they were going after 21 time and time again. But that's the challenge you face when you play an offensive team like the Bengals. And Bengals are red hot, honestly. They've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And that's not a team I'd want to play right now. They're as dangerous as any team in the AFC, if you ask me right now. This is a really good Cincinnati team.
Yeah, they're a desperate team, that's for sure. All right, let me hit my first break. When we'll come back, we'll continue along with the conversation right here on your Locked On Broncos postcast. Appreciate y'all tapping in live. Make sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, drop some comments. Let me know how you're feeling out there as the Denver Broncos fall to the Cincinnati Bengals. Your final score tonight, 30-24. Back in just a moment, folks. We'll continue along with the conversation right here on your Locked On Broncos postcast. Stick with us, folks. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at Prize Picks because it is playoff time. And if you're like me, you want to make the most of these final weeks of the football action. That's where Prize Picks comes in. If you love football and want a chance to win real money while watching the games, Prize Picks is the place for you. It's the best way to turn your sports opinions into cash with daily fantasy player projections. With Prize Picks, you simply pick more or less on player stats like total passing yards or rushing touchdowns, and for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. You can make your picks in less than 60 seconds, and whether you're looking for a flex play to boost your payout or want to cash out quickly, Prize Picks has got you covered. And with over 10 million members and billions in winnings, it's clear that people are loving this platform. I've been playing with Prize Picks for a while now, and I'm having a blast. This week, I'm eyeing Jared Goff for more than 230 passing yards and Saquon Barkley for more than 1 touchdown. It's so easy to use, and I love how fast the payouts are. Seriously, I've gotten paid out in as little as 15 minutes when my picks hit. Plus, the weekly promos like Taco Tuesday discounts and even more value to my lineups. Here's a special offer for Locked On NFL listeners. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Prize Picks. Run your game. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, welcome on back into your Locked On Broncos postcast. Aniello Piro joined with my man, Alex Becker. One more time, my friend, where can they follow you on social?
You can find me on Twitter at @BeckerSports.
He's one of the good ones, man. Make sure to check him out on social media. Brutal loss. Everyone in Broncos country that's rocking with us here on the show tonight. Appreciate y'all. Make sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Broncos postcast. But why don't we talk a little Bo Nix here in this segment, Alex? Because I think the only word to use, I don't know if the only word, but one of the words you use to describe Bo Nix tonight is disappointing. He was disappointing at times. I mean, if you look at his numbers, you'd say he'd had a decent game. But when you needed a big third down in a pressure situation, he couldn't really come up with that play. That interception at the very end of regulation was huge. I know his arm was hit, but I don't know if the ball's getting a sudden either way. That's a bad throw. Hard to pick on a rookie who's had such a exciting and impressive season. But look at how the expectations have changed, right? Like I talked about in the first segment, you were expecting, not me, but there was a lot of people that were expecting the Broncos to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. I don't think anybody had them sniffing the playoffs, which is why this season, regardless of what happens, to me is a success. But when you needed it most, he was unable to deliver tonight was Bo Nix.
Yeah. Key third down, fourth down. You got to get it done. I know he had the throws to Mims that really changed or kept the Broncos in the football game, but you'd like to see a little bit more in those pressure cooker situations against the weak defense. The Cincinnati defense has been labeled as a very soft secondary, a team you can attack deep down the field, but that just wasn't there. I think I saw our friend Cody Roark talk about on Twitter and how they're taking away the deep routes, taking away the intermediate routes. The only things that are open are those short checkdowns within 10 yards.
Which has been uncharacteristic of this Bengals defense so far this year.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Russell Wilson threw for over 400 yards against this Bengals defense, and I thought the chances were there. But you like to see Nix maybe take another chance or two, but it's really hard to pick on a rookie like this. I thought overall his performance was decent, but in the clutch, you'd like to see a little bit more. I agree.
Here's the thing, though. Here's my optimistic point of view. Training wheels. This year, with the Russell Wilson dead cap money that's still on the books for the Broncos, this year to me is as much about Bo Nix and the rest of the young guys getting experience, playing in the pressure cooker. And here's the thing. I know this loss hurts. It does. This is a learning experience that will make Bo Nix better moving forward.
That is very true. It's a learning experience. Playing in these big games is only going to help him down the line, even in the playoffs this year. I mean, they're probably looking at going to Buffalo right now in the first round as things line up.
What's that line
in the cold and snow?
10 points off?
Wow, yeah. I mean, I know they won in Buffalo last year on Monday Night Football, but it's a totally different team this year.
Totally different.
They're going to be a big underdog in that one. Yeah, I mean, you got to win next week. Let's not even talk about the playoffs right now. You got one game to beat Kansas City. I don't know how much they're going to play their starters. Andy Reid has been known for playing their starters in the preseason, so I think we'll see Mahomes and Kelsey for a little bit, maybe a quarter or so in that game. But it's an absolute must-win. If you can't win this game, just you don't deserve to be in the playoffs, or whether or not. So 3 games to win 1. You got to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And, it wasn't all doom and gloom with Bo Nix. He made that sensational pass nearly at the end of regulation to help push this game to overtime. Like I said, I thought it could have been dropped here potentially. But, I think I heard something on the broadcast that was like the longest airtime pass for the NFL this season from a quarterback. So you're seeing the signs, and you said it earlier in the first segment, that Bo Nix is the guy. He's a franchise caliber quarterback from what we've seen through these 16 games so far throughout the course of the regular season for the Denver Broncos. And that's why I revert to this thought, which is as bad as this game was tonight, as brutal of a loss as it was, he and the rest of the team will be better because of it. So that's what makes me at least a little bit optimistic. I'm still a believer. I'm assuming you're a believer as
Always.
well.
Have been from the very start. Yeah,
exactly. And so I don't think that this loss changes anything in regards to the long-term trajectory for this Denver Broncos team. And the one common thought that I have, and we'll hit on this in a majority of the final segment here as we get ready to hit a break on Locked On Broncos, is what this team, I've said it a few times, they weren't supposed to be anything. They weren't supposed to be competitive. I'm not trying to put on my sorry cap here, but all of this stuff, being in the playoff conversation, Bo Nix being in the NFL or AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year conversation or Rookie of the Year in general, that's all cream to me. It's all cream. I'm confident in the Broncos' ability to win next week against the Kansas City Chiefs because of what we've talked about. You're probably not getting a full game from Mahomes or Kelsey. They're probably not going to play. Carson Wentz is a pretty darn good backup, but if Denver can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs next week, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Right. I'll put it that way.
Absolutely.
But it's frustrating, man. It's absolutely frustrating. But this is a young roster with a lot of upside and an experienced head coach. The one thing that I keep going back to: why did you not go for 2? Why did you not go for 2? You had the opportunity for the kill shot. You mentioned it, Alex. On the road, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. T. Higgins was getting anything he wanted throughout the course of this game. And you had the Bengals down and out. All you had to do was Muhammad Ali. Hit him with that right hook.
Give him the knockout punch. And knowing Sean Payton, his coaching style, you'd think he wanted to close that game out, especially after that crazy touchdown pass to Mims. He's got so many creative play calls within 5 yards to get 2 yards, whether it's a shovel or a pitch or whatever. He's got those in his playbook up his sleeve. I would have gone for 2, in my opinion. I mean, this team was slotted to win 5.5 games this season. They've already way outperformed.
They're going to double that if they win next week.
Exactly, and they're kind of reeling. I mean, you needed to win one game. You might as well go for the win on the road with going against Burrow and Chase and Higgins. I mean, those guys are so lethal. Everybody knows that. I would have gone for the win right there, but I'm also not a National Football League coach. And,
you and me both.
Of course, Sean Payton, he's going to face all those questions in the post-game presser, and that's going to be questioned all week long. But, he's been in those situations before, so I guess I trust his judgment.
And that's a game that the Bengals lose 9 times out of 10.
It really is. It really is.
I turned to my buddy and I was like, how many times have we seen the Bengals score a late touchdown and then just get their hearts ripped out?
This is wild. This team was 4-8. The Cincinnati Bengals, they're just somehow keeping their season alive week by week by week.
Staying
the last
alive.
3 weeks.
Staying alive.
Exactly. By the skin of their teeth. They're still in the playoff picture. If they win next week and Broncos lose, I mean, they're in.
Crazy.
So
it would be a miracle.
This would be a total collapse for the Broncos, but also hard to be mad at the team with all the dead cap that they've been saddled with the Russell Wilson contract and everything else. But just a sad ending, but a very exciting football game if you're just a neutral football fan today.
I would agree. That was one of the most exhilarating football games that I've watched in a long time. All right, let me hit my final break. When we come back, we'll get ready to put a bow in the show. A couple of closing thoughts as the Denver Broncos unfortunately lose to the Cincinnati Bengals tonight. Your final score 30-24. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, drop some comments. Let me know your thoughts out there, folks, as the Denver Broncos come up short against the Cincinnati Bengals. Back in just a moment, folks. All right, you guys, let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel real quick, because the NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. I love betting on which players will score a touchdown and how many points each team will score. It's absolutely thrilling, guys. You can bet on, like I said, which players will score a touchdown, how many points will each team score, and so many more options with our friends over at FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I say it every time, guys. I'm an active FanDuel user. It's my personal favorite sportsbook. I know it'll be yours too. If you've not signed up yet, take advantage of that offer. Sign up, win your first $5 bet, and you've got $250 in your pocket in bonus bets. Check out our friends over at FanDuel and let them know that Locked On Broncos sent you. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Broncos postcast. Aniello Piro, Alex Becker, broadcasting live from number 38 in Denver, Colorado, in the Rhino District. If you're looking for a place to watch all of your sporting events, come on down to number 38. And, of course, your Locked On Broncos postcast is brought to you in partnership with Mile High Sports. But
that's the feeling of Broncos country right now. If you could get an audible gasp, that is how Broncos country is feeling after that loss. It was there for the taking. The Bengals almost didn't want to win that game. The Cade York.
They were trying to give it away.
The Broncos late touchdown. The Broncos had chances late in the game, but the ball just didn't bounce their way in overtime. And it's just a crusher, man. Just a crusher.
It's a heartbreaker. It is. But here's the thing. Let's end it on a high note, or not even a high note, but a positive note. Win, and you're in.
3 games to win 1. I've said it 3 or 4 times this podcast. Got to beat Kansas City next week. And, they should have beat them, in my opinion, in Arrowhead already earlier this season. And now January 5th coming up next Sunday or Saturday. I guess it could be flexed still to a Saturday game. Got to beat them and give them their second loss.
Well, and the other silver lining, despite the loss tonight, is the Broncos have now played essentially 3 playoff games in a row. You had the Colts, who needed that game. You got by the Colts, although they were gifted because of the Jonathan Taylor fumble, not crossing the goal line with the ball. You lose to the Chargers in disgusting fashion.
Right.
And now you lose to the Bengals in heartbreak fashion. So you hope the tide will eventually turn here for the Denver Broncos. And the way that I see it is, take these losses. What does Coach Brian like to say? We don't take a loss, we have lessons.
Exactly.
Right? And so take these lessons and figure out a way to move forward and get back up on your high horse. You hope that this is the bottom of the barrel. You hope that this is as much as they'll struggle throughout the course of the remaining season. Obviously, one regular season game and a very likely chance that we have at least one playoff game. Might be against the Buffalo Bills, but to Alex's point earlier, you did manage to beat Buffalo last year with Russell Wilson. So, I'm not never say never, but at the end of the day, you need to take this loss and turn it into fuel for the rest of your season.
Absolutely. And, Cincinnati, they have Pittsburgh on the road next week. That's not going to be an easy task.
Pittsburgh needs
that game as well. And tomorrow, Anthony Richardson for the Colts has been ruled out. Tua Tagovailoa has been ruled out from the Miami Dolphins. Two teams you need to lose, the Colts and the Dolphins. Both have their starting quarterbacks ruled out for those games tomorrow. That bodes well for the Broncos, plus the Bengals matchup next week. Even... let's hope they beat the Chiefs, obviously, next week. But things are kind of looking up, even if they have to back their way into the playoffs. And I really hope it doesn't come down to that. But, we're hoping for a Dolphins loss and a Colts loss tomorrow, plus the Bengals loss next week.
That'd be great.
I mean, literally, going into the playoffs with 3 straight losses is not what you're looking for. But it could possibly happen.
It's never easy in the NFL. It's never easy. It's always a tall task to try to win any of these games, any given Sunday, any given Saturday, whatever it might be. And so now for the Denver Broncos, they've got to dig deep. And they'll get a little bit of a blessing. Like we said, we'll see what Kansas City does, but I'm not expecting them to play all their starters. And if they do play their starters, it'll be for a limited amount of time. So we'll see how it all kind of shakes out here. But a disappointing loss. Your final score tonight, 30-24, as the Denver Broncos come up just short against the Cincinnati Bengals. But before we get out of here, my friend, any closing thoughts, anything else you want to get off the chest?
Let's beat the Chiefs next week. You can't. I don't want to get swept by them in the first place, but you need this win. Heartbreaker today, but I'm feeling these guys will get back up on the horse and have a great week of practice. Get ready for this Week 18 victory against the hated Kansas City Chiefs.
I agree. Let's wipe the slate clean. Let's get back in the meeting room. Let's analyze the film. Let's take a look at the X's and O's, and let's see the Denver Broncos go out there, get right against the Chiefs, clinch their spot in the playoffs, first time since Super Bowl 50. That is still on the line. Everything is still in front of the Denver Broncos, despite their crushing defeat tonight to the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll end it on a high note. One more time, where can they follow you on social?
You can follow me at Becker Sports on Twitter.
And I'm at Media by AP on Twitter and Instagram as well. But for Alex Becker, I'm Aniello Piro. The Denver Broncos losing tonight 30-24, your final score. For everybody watching live, appreciate y'all. Make sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Broncos postcast. A crushing loss for Denver. Back at it next week, folks. Subscribe to the channel, like and subscribe. We'll talk to you guys then. Have a good night, folks.